Welcome to the Connect with BMC Helix ITSM and Remedy webinar. During today's session, you'll be able to ask questions of our panelists. The questions and answers, along with today's broadcast, will be published to our YouTube channel a week from today. At this time, I will turn it over to Sagar to take us through the BCM Administration Best Practices. Over to you, Sagar.
Thank you very much, Greg, for such a nice introduction. And hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining today's webinar. My name is Sagar and I'm a senior technical support analyst working with BMC Client Management Support Team. With me, I have Niranjan, who is a lead technical support analyst working with the Smart IT product. This is our today's agenda of the webinar. First, we'll be looking into the overview of the BMC Client Management and the Smart IT products. We will then cover basics of the BCM administrations. I will show you what all different points that can be covered in the administration part. Our documentation already covers it all for you. The BCM integration with Smart IT. We will then give you the important references and the troubleshooting guide. So to give you all an overview of what the BMC Client Management product is all about, it is an automated endpoint management solution that helps you manage the entire life cycle of an asset in your environment. Right from the time an asset has entered your organization, or right from the time the asset has been purchased until the time you have deprecated it or decommissioned it, you can manage the entire life cycle of the asset. You can say it's a cradle to grave solution of the asset in your environment. The client management product has different modules, some of the important ones which I have listed here. It helps you discover the assets in your environment, and not just the Windows operating system devices, but it helps you discover the Linux, Mac, the printers, the network devices such as routers and switches. Installing the BCM agents on the endpoints such as Windows clients, Windows servers, the Mac, the Linux devices, and managing their inventory, performing some advanced tasks on those devices. If you have the bare metal devices and you have a task of installing the operating system, then BCM can help you install the operating systems on the bare metal devices. The application deployment can be done on Windows and Mac and the Linux devices using the custom package solution that BCM offers. With the help of software license management, the day-to-day work of managing the licenses or keeping the inventory of the licenses becomes very easy. BMC Client Management Agent already collects the inventory and it keeps it in the repository, with which you will be able to know which all applications are installed on the devices, whether they are licensed or not. So you'll have an overview like a dashboard which you'll be able to see, based on which the license management becomes easy. There are different compliance policies that we need to ensure that the devices comply with. BCM already has some out-of-the-box compliance rules against which the devices can be validated to check their compliance level, and custom compliance rules could also be created so that you can manage your compliance in a different way altogether. With patch management module, you not only install the patches which are released by Microsoft on every Patch Tuesday, but you can also install the patches for different applications such as Chrome, Firefox, or any other application that you have installed. There are tons of applications which are compatible with BMC Client Management Patch Management Solution. There are tons of automations which are possible using the operational rule steps in BMC Client Management. Along with that, we also offer mobile device management solution for the iOS devices. Apart from this, the BMC Client Management product is available on-premise and as a SaaS solution, which we refer to as the Helix offering. The master application of the BMC Client Management product can be installed on Windows servers with a combination of Microsoft SQL Server or Microsoft SQL Express Server databases, and on Linux servers with a combination of PostgreSQL and the Oracle database. The BCM application has integration available with many different ITSM tools, including Atrium CMDB to get the list of devices, hardware, and the software inventory, Remedy Force to run the asset discovery scans and sync the assets with the Remedy Force CMDB, Remedy with Smart IT. This will help you automate the incident generation and use the direct access features such as remote control, ping, and reboot. With BMC Digital Workplace, the administrators can make use of the automations created through the operational rules in client management. Footprints Service Core and the Track8 are two other products with which the BMC client management is already integrated with. As I mentioned before, administering the BCM application has different aspects and our documentation already covers it all for you. When it comes to administering anything, it's not a single person's job and you need a group of people with different expertise to handle it all. And it would be done using the administrators. In the same way, the administrators in BCM are the users who can log into the BCM console and perform different tasks. The administrators can be created manually and set an internal password with which the authentication will happen and the user will be able to log in. But if we think of the users who actually use the application, they will have to remember so many credentials. So it can also be integrated with your organization's Active Directory, and then the users can be authenticated against Active Directory. We are going to have a dedicated webinar for managing the user access level. It's like a deep dive with which you can fine tune, or you can go as deep as you want to fine tune the security profile settings and to make sure you get the right security profile created as it is needed. BCM already had certain out-of-the-box groups which are created. You may have a need of application administrators who only deploy the applications on the target devices, or they create some custom monitoring applications, or they have the application prohibition policies set. So for such, there is application administrators. There are certain group of administrators who only manage the compliance, and we have the compliance administrators group, the help desk people who can remote into the end user's machine to provide them support as and when needed. We have the dedicated help desk group. There are patch administrators who are mainly focused on deploying the patches on the end user's devices. We have dedicated inventory group who only manage the hardware, software, the patch, the custom inventories of the devices. We have dedicated group for reporting administrators who can manage only the reporting section. Then we have the super administrators group who have the highest level of access in client management. The administration also has many different ways of managing the application, managing the queries, running the reports, installing the patches are all the different administration tasks that can be performed using client management. Software distribution, managing the compliances, managing the software licenses, managing the alerts and the events are all different administration tasks that can be performed using the BMC client management. And you can have the dedicated groups or dedicated administrators created with their dedicated permissions. Now with the alerts and events, the administrators can be notified whenever there is a certain alert or the event generated. And that will be our main focus in this webinar, as we are going to integrate BMC client management with Smart IT. The Smart IT administrator will subscribe to certain alerts and the events in client management, based on which the incident generation will be automated. So what are the benefits of the Smart IT and the BMC client management integration? The tickets or the incident can be generated automatically based on the events and the alerts subscribed. Access to the inventory of the devices or the endpoints directly from the Smart IT. So the administrator doesn't need to switch between two applications to see the inventory information. The remote control can be directly initiated from the Smart IT. Direct access features such as the administrator can ping to make sure the device is online. He can also perform a reboot if need be. And because the alerts and the events are generated in client management, you can monitor those alerts and events by generating the incidents and then assigning it to the administrators. So it becomes easy to monitor those alerts and the events. This was all about BMC client management and the overview of the client management. Now we will get to know more about Smart IT. So Niranjan, over to you now.
Hey, thank you, Sagar. Hello, everyone. Prior talking more about the BMC client management integration with Smart IT, I would like to give a quick overview of what is Smart IT. BMC Remedy with Smart IT is the next generation BMC Remedy IT service management user experience. Basic Remedy ITSM processes like creating tickets, viewing related items such as tickets, assets or knowledge articles, and updating profile information now can be done in a much faster and easier way, as the new Smart IT user interface reduces the steps involved in performing these tasks. Remedy with Smart IT sets a new standard for the modern workplace with an intuitive, social, and mobile service desk experience to enable a more knowledgeable and collaborative workforce. When we talk about integrating these two products, BMC Client Management and BMC Remedy with Smart IT, there are two possible flows. The first scenario is where we integrate BMC Client Management with BMC Remedy Smart IT. This will enable administrators to automate incident generation in Smart IT based on events defined in BCM. An event in BCM is a significant action or occurrence in a system or application that needs to be reported to administrators. When an event occurs that administrators need to know about it, an alert is generated in BCM Console. When we have this integration enabled, we can further extend it to forward such alerts to Smart IT to automatically generate incidents and notify administrators about these incidents. For example, a Remedy with Smart IT administrator can subscribe to an event generated when an error happens on BCM agent. When this event occurs, BCM generate an alert which causes a new incident to be created in the Remedy with Smart IT application. The application notifies Smart IT service desk technicians about these incidents. This integration makes use of web services in order to connect and pass on the information to Smart IT. In order to enable this integration, one has to provide the basic information like Smart IT administrator user credentials and the URL to access the Smart IT web server in the global settings external integration create integration page of BCM. Now let's talk about the other scenario. The other scenario is to integrate Smart IT with BMC client management. This helps service desk agents and specialists working in Smart IT to resolve issues with BCM managed assets. With this integration, depending on the level of BCM access, user can perform actions on BCM managed assets like audit, checking the connection to the devices, which would simply ping to the device, reboot it, shut down and wake up. As I mentioned, we can perform such actions only on those assets which are managed by the BMC client management. Smart ID checks the value in FP integration ID field of the CI to identify the CIs which are managed by BCM. When there is a value in the FP integration ID field, BCM related menu options appear in the More menu in the Smart IT asset profile. In order to enable the Smart IT integration with BMC client management, one need to provide the value for BCM server URL property in the centralized configuration console, which identifies the BCM host name and port number that Smart IT uses to integrate with. Apart from this, the integration would also depend on the following things. BCM integration with Atrium CMDB. This integration is a mandatory prior you integrate Smart IT with BMC client management. This is required and supports the Smart IT integration by adding the FP integration ID to the BMC core BMC underscore base element class. Smart IT checks the value in the FP integration ID field to identify BCM managed assets. BCM Web Services module, which Smart IT uses the BCM Web Services REST API to communicate with the BCM server. Both the HTTP protocol handler module and the Web API module must be loaded on the BCM master server. You can load the modules in persistent mode, which is the default one, to ensure that the modules are always running even if the BCM master server restarts. BMC login credentials. Smart IT users must provide the BCM login credentials while performing BCM related actions on assets. Thank you very much. This is it from the Smart IT integration side. Over to you, Sagar.
Thank you, Niranjan. There are many different administrative tasks which are usually involved whenever two products are to be integrated with each other. But in BMC, that's not the case. The integration is pretty straightforward and easy to set up. Enabling external integration in the BMC client management, this can be done from the console. The integration needs to be enabled from the client management application. The application type is already predefined. So while configuring the integration, you need a username from the Smart IT, you need the password and the application URL of the Smart IT. We are going to see this in demo, and in the second screenshot, the administrator will then subscribe to the individual alerts or the events. These are some sections. The sections needs to be expanded, and then the alerts will be visible for subscription. Once the events are subscribed for, the assignments needs to be created, and these requests need to be assigned to the assignment engine so that the incidents will be generated and assigned. Let's see how the flow of the incident generation works. So it is a straightforward flow. The BCM master server will check if there is any specific alert or the event generated as it is subscribed by the Smart IT administrator, and the moment it sees it, it will send it to the Smart IT engine, and the assignment engine will create the incident. The integration flow for remote control or the direct access features that we talked about. So a common point of exchanging the asset information will be CMDB in this case. So CMDB will help us keep all the assets information, the inventory information with its repository. The same is also linked with Smart IT to perform the remote control, ping or reboot operations. Once the BCM CMDB integration is completed, as Niranjan mentioned, the CIs will have unique fingerprint IDs, and that would be an indication to Smart IT that those devices are managed from BCM. So, without further delay, let's jump into the demo. We are now logged into the BMC Client Management Console. Let's go to Global Settings, External Integrations. As you can see, we have already configured the Smart IT integration, but I will show you how it can be done again. Right click on the external integration, create integration. This will show us the configuration page. From the application type, you need to select Remedy with Smart IT. Update the instance name. The username that we need to update here is the username that belongs to the Smart IT application and the password for the same. The application URL, you need to ensure that the application URL is the one to access the Remedy with Smart IT web server. The usual format of this application URL is http:// the mid-tier server and the port number followed by the ARSys services. The URL format is already here. You need to update the correct server name, the port information, and after the username and password are updated, you need to click on check connection. Let me show you the same which is already configured here in the Smart IT section. So we have used the app admin username from the Smart IT portal, the password, and this is the URL which we have updated. Now I'm clicking on check connection. The verification was successful. Click OK. After the test is successful, this next button will be highlighted. Click next. Now there are different sections as you can see, and as I've been mentioning before, the Smart IT administrators can subscribe for different alerts or the events. After these events are triggered in client management, the incidents will be generated in the Smart IT. Let's expand all these sections and you will see the individual events which are predefined in client management. There are several events for BCM application, discovery, the compliance, the agent-based monitoring. Whenever these alerts are generated, BCM will send these alerts to Smart IT engine and the engine will create the incidents. Once the alerts are subscribed for, click finish. The alerts can be unsubscribed as well, or if you have not subscribed to a certain alert and you want to subscribe it at a later time, it can be done as well. So all you have to do is log into the client management console, come to this section, global settings, external integration, and the integration which you have created for Smart IT. Go to notification events. From here you will be able to see which all alerts you are subscribed to and which all alerts you are not subscribed to, and double click on any of these available alerts. Then you will be back to the second screen of the wizard which we saw earlier. You can subscribe or you can unsubscribe to the alert and then click on finish. The settings will be applied immediately. Now we will see if the BMC client management application had sent any alert or event to Smart IT. If you are encountering any issues where the events are subscribed for and you're not seeing any event in the Smart IT application, first thing is to look at is the logs on the master server. So go to device topology. The first device that we see under device topology in BCM console is the master server. Click on logging section and in description type Smart IT. Then click find. If BCM had sent any information to Smart IT, we will see it here. If there are any errors logged, we will also be able to see the errors. Now, as per the logs, we can see that the incident had successfully been created for this particular incident. It says that the unmanaged device was audited by the master server. Now, let's check these events in alerts and events section of the client management application and we'll see how it appears there. So minimize device topology, go to alerts and events. Make sure that the dates are sorted properly so that you will see the recent alerts on the top. And we can see the alert which we saw in the log that the unmanaged device was audited. And if you double click on that particular alert, you will see a Smart IT incident ID or the incident number is also updated along with this particular event. So it's like an exchange between the BMC client management and the Smart IT application. The BCM will share the alert information and in return Smart IT will give the incident number as an acknowledgement. Now, apart from checking the logs, there is one more alternate way of checking which alerts and events in client management have an incident created in Smart IT. Scroll this horizontal scroll bar towards right and sort the shared column, and you'll see wherever the shared is checked, it means an alert has been sent to Smart IT and an incident has been generated. We'll randomly click on any of these alerts and we will see the incident ID generated in Smart IT against it. Now we've seen how the alerts and the events can be monitored from client management and how to check which alerts have the incident generated in Smart IT. Let's log into Smart IT and check the same alerts there. Okay, we can see the same incidents which we saw in the Client Management Console in the Alerts and the Event section. So these are the incidents which are generated in Smart IT, and this is how the incident generation can be automated and the alerts can be monitored effectively.
Now let's have a look into this integration from Smart IT side. In order to make sure the Smart IT is integrated with BMC client management, we need to navigate to Centralized Configuration Console. Open the Smart IT configurations and make sure the BCM server URL parameter is populated with the right details about the BCM server. Once this integration is through, we can navigate to Smart IT, and for any BCM managed CI, we should be able to get these details under the More options. Now, what do I mean by BCM managed device? Any device in CMDB which has a FP integration ID value populated, that would be considered as a BCM managed device. And these options would be available only for BCM managed devices. We need to remember that if BCM is configured for SSL, you must copy the certificate from the BCM master server and import it to the key store of JRE installed on the Smart IT server. Now let's quickly check the connection. I'll provide the BCM user credentials. Now, if the SSL certificates are not imported, we get this SSL handshake exception. Now, using the Key Store Explorer, I can import the certificate. From the Tools, Import Trusted Certificate option. In this case, I have already imported the certificate, which you can see here as Client Management Certificate Authority. Now I'll navigate to the same CI and click on Asset Details. This will load the asset details from Client Management. This concludes the demo. Thank you.
The BMC Client Management documentation has a dedicated troubleshooting section which is created based on the most commonly raised support issues. The troubleshooting section will be helpful if you encounter any issues. There are not many issues that we have seen when integrating BMC Client Management with Smart IT product, and this is one of the common issues which we have seen, and I wanted to bring this to your attention. So the BCM agent fails to install and it errors out with code 94. This happens because the default timeout limit is of 5 minutes, and if the installer exceeds the default 5 minutes threshold, then the error 94 appears. The solution for this is to identify why the BCM agent installation is taking more than 5 minutes. Sometimes it could be the size of the executable file, which could be more than 100 MB, and it's taking more time to copy the file over the network and then install it on the target device. Or sometimes it could be the antivirus scans that is causing the delay because it is scanning each and every binary. Now, if the rollout is created by selecting operating system as Windows all architectures, the size of the executable file is almost double. So this is one of the alternatives, that the operating system can be well defined if the rollout is to be installed on the 64-bit devices. Choose the operating system of the rollout as Windows 2008, 2008 R2, and there are several operating systems that you will see which mainly belong to Windows, and then it is only for the 64-bit operating systems. Once these settings are updated, regenerate the rollout package and then deploy the agent. The size will be reduced almost by 50%, and the amount of time taken to copy it over the network will also be significantly reduced. Now, whenever you want to raise a support case, especially for the integration issue, then these are some of the important log file locations that you'll need to keep handy, and make sure to reproduce the issue before the log files are collected and then upload them on the ticket. For BCM, the log file location for Windows and Linux is different. For Windows, the drive letter may be different depending on where exactly it is installed. These are some of the important references which you can keep handy if you're going to integrate BMC client management with Smart IT. In summary, we have covered the BMC client management's overview. We covered different modules that the BCM consists of. We also saw an overview of what the Smart IT is all about. We saw the benefits of the integration, different aspects of the client management administration. We also saw the flow of the integration and a successful demo. Now this concludes today's webinar. Over to you, Greg.
Thank you. And now I'll take us through the self-help in contacting BMC. The YouTube channel where this webinar will be posted is listed here. It contains past webinars as well as a rich set of how-to videos. The Connect with BMC Helix ITSM and Remedy webinar schedule is available at this community's link, and the hot off the press newsletter for trending information is available at this community's post. As always, contacting technical support via web, phone, email, and these social channels is available. At this time, that will conclude this webinar. Thank you for attending.